how is it, after all these years, that I'm still interested in Qigong, and you could even say excited about Qigong? That is going to be the topic of this episode of Qi Life. So I've been traveling around a lot for this last year, continuously, in many different countries, many different cities. I'm currently in Vietnam, in a city called Da Nang, and this is actually my first vlog walking along the beach in quite a while. So that's nice. I think probably the last vlog I did walking along the beach would have been when I was in New Zealand, which would be over a year ago now. So that's quite a while. One of the things that happens when you're traveling a lot is you meet a lot of people who you otherwise wouldn't meet. And this topic for this vlog comes from one of those conversations that I had with one of these people that I met. And it was a few weeks ago now. When you're meeting new people, you often have, at least the start of the conversation starts out pretty much in a similar way. Where are you from? What do you do? You know, all that sort of thing. Now, a lot of the types of people that you meet in countries around Southeast Asia are digital nomads, one of these modern terms that's become popular recently. People who are traveling around working online, as I am myself, doing a lot of work online. And a lot of them, I mean, you meet digital nomads at different stages of life. Some of them are a bit older and more established. Quite a lot of them are in a younger age group, and while they are working at something, they're still figuring out what it is exactly that they want to do. And so this guy who I was talking to, he was, I don't know how old he was. He's probably mid to late 20s. And when he found out that I teach Qigong, that's my work, he thought that was interesting. And he also asked me how long I'd been doing it for. Now, Qigong has been my major focus for basically my entire adult life. So that's quite a while at this point. That's, it's a good 25 years or so that it's been my main focus. I did have exposure to Qigong prior to that, but yeah, it's been my main thing for a long time. And he was quite amazed at that I was still very much involved in this one thing, and that I was still passionate about it. I guess that came through in the way that I talked about Qigong with him. Now, I think part of his amazement, because he was really curious, like, why am I still interested in it after all this long? This one thing, how had I stuck with this one thing? Now, I think part of that just comes from a stage of life thing. You know, when you're quite young, it's quite natural to try out different things and maybe stick with something for a little while and then try something else. That's quite normal. So it could be that he'll just find his thing a little bit later on. And there's lots of different things that people can find that, you know, become their passion. For me though, I mean, clearly Qigong has been my passion for a long time. There's something particular about Qigong. Now, this may not apply to other people, but certainly it does to me. And it's the depth and richness that it's possible to discover within Qigong. A lot of this depends very much on how you look at Qigong, of course, because you can look at Qigong purely as some exercises for your health. And that can be interesting. It can certainly be very valuable, really good for your well-being. But it can also be a lot more than that, because as we delve into the principles of Qigong, we discover so much about ourselves and also about the world around us. We have this rich, nuanced way of understanding our experience in life. Part of this, I think, particularly comes from, well, there's lots of parts that contribute to this. Part of it is the richness of Chinese philosophy and the way it creates a framework for understanding patterns in life and energy around us and within us, of course. And part of it is that focus specifically on energy, because having a direct focus on energy, in a way, it's a way to sum up many, many different complex factors into a way that we can understand them and recognize patterns. And again, this applies both inside us, within our bodies, within our relationships, interactions with other people, and also patterns we see in the environment around us. There's so many different individual parts that make up the whole of what's going on that to analyze each individual part, it can be certainly fascinating, but we're inevitably going to miss a whole lot of them. We'll be able to recognize some and understand the role that they're playing, but there's no way we can account for all of them. It's worthwhile understanding each of those parts, for sure. But when we focus on the energy, we're able to understand the collective effect of all the parts we do understand, and then also fill in some of those gaps of some of the parts that maybe we don't understand or that we can't analyze to that degree to separate out as a separate thing, and then get this picture or this understanding of the pattern of what's occurring. And then, of course, when we understand the pattern of what's occurring, well, just understanding's enough sometimes, actually, to help us to recognize what's going on, have peace what's going on. But it also then gives us the opportunity to develop skill so that we can find more harmony with the patterns of energy, the patterns of life. So that is something that I find fascinating. It can extend into every area of our life. And the more I study, the more I practice, the more there is to learn. It just keeps on going. Life is both incredibly complex, but then can also be simple at the same time. And there's just always more to explore and to look at both that complexity and then reduce it to the simplicity and understand the overriding principles and patterns within it. And that's something that Qigong is such a valuable tool for, certainly to me. So anyway, that's why I still find Qigong interesting and even exciting after all these years. And certainly I know I'm not the only person who feels this way. There's lots of other people doing Qigong who have a similar interest and excitement even after doing it for long periods of their lives. All right, that's the topic for today. Hopefully it's been interesting. I look forward to seeing you on another vlog soon.